Hey, what is up, everyone? This is Juicy Hockey with Gordo. I am your host, Gordo Maxwell. Okay, conference finals are about to begin. Tonight is game one between the Florida Panthers, the winner of the Atlantic Division, against the Metropolitan President's Trophy winning New York Rangers. That's our game tonight. And also, we got some interesting coaching breaking news, and a trade that just happened yesterday between the Nashville Predators and the Tampa Bay Lightning. And we'll be talking about a contract extension in the LA Kings organization. Okay, let's get to it. First up, let's talk about the matchup between the New York Rangers and the Florida Panthers. This is the first time we're seeing these two teams play against each other in the playoffs since 1997. Wow, it's been a long time. I'll tell you, that is a matchup everybody's been waiting for. The Florida Panthers have won 2 out of the 3 regular season meetings, and they were pretty close, I should say. Panthers won the first one at 4-3. They lost the shootout the last game of the year, and they won one by 1 or 2. Yeah, I got to say, this is going to be a fun matchup between these two rivals. And you got to say this. This is going to be a bloodbath series. The Panthers are on the road. The Panthers are one of the best road teams in the NHL. The Rangers, they got an incredible home record, and the Panthers are edge favorite, slight edge. I'm going to go somewhere between and then over and under. I'm going to say we're going to be at a somewhat under for this one. We're talking 5.5 goals. I got to say we're going to be very close. I'm going to go Florida on this one, guys. I know I'm being a little biased, but I trust the road team more. But the Panthers, they got to stay out of the penalty box. And, the Rangers are dangerous on the power play. It's going to be somewhat of a close call, close game, 1-goal game. I'm going to go Florida 3-2 in game one. That's my prediction right there. 3-2, 3-2. Yeah. And also, let's talk about their track record against the Rangers this season. Like I said, they won the first game against the Rangers during the holiday season in December. And looking at the records here, the Florida Panthers. Okay, we got a little bit of a glitch here. There we go. Florida Panthers played the New York Rangers. First matchup was back in December 29th. The Florida Panthers won 4-3. And Barkov was their star player. Bobrovsky was in net. No surprise there. And then if we go down to their second meeting of the year, the Panthers won at MSG 4-2. Sam Reinhart, top player of the game. And the Panthers had Bobrovsky in net 42, 16, and 4 at the time. And then back in December 29th, the Panthers were 21 and 12 and 2. And then when the Panthers were playing again at MSG on the 23rd of March, Panthers lost in a shootout. Carter Verhaeghe was their star player. In that game, Bobrovsky was in net for all 3 of those games. And I got to tell you, this is going to be – I wouldn't be shocked this series will be 1-goal game. Every game will be either a 1-goal win or a 2-goal victory margin. But I'm going to go Florida Panthers 3-2. That's my safe bet. The Florida Panthers will win game 1. Rangers will win game 2. Panthers will get game 3, 4. Rangers get 5. And then the Panthers get game 6. Stanley Cup Finals once again. And it's like I said, this is a mixed bag of the odds maker saying Panthers, Rangers, Panthers, Rangers. It's so damn close. I got to say, the Florida Panthers are going to win this one. Like I said, 3-2 for tonight's game. Okay, we'll be right back after these messages. Coming up, NHL trade. We're going to break it down between Nashville and Tampa Bay. and a coaching contract extension in Los Angeles, and a talk of a familiar name going to New Jersey. We'll be back after these messages. All right, we are back. So we are having breaking news that the Los Angeles Kings have officially named Jim Hiller as their next head coach, took the interim tag off, and now he is an official coach of the Los Angeles Kings, signs a multi-year contract extension, 21-12-1. And they still lose in the first round to the Edmonton Oilers. He's a former Northern Michigan grad, and he was part of the LA Kings since July of 2022. He's been in the NHL for quite a while. He's been with the New York Islanders from 2019 to 2022, 2015 and 19 with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and 2014-15 with the Detroit Red Wings. And I really like this move, and it brings sustainability with the front office and the coaching staff. And I really like his style and his turnaround. He really helped the LA Kings not to be in a wild card situation. If it would have been a wild card, it would have been new coach on the helm. But I like this hiring. But it's a bold hiring by Rob Blake. But don't forget, Rob Blake is on thin ice with the whole Pierre-Luc Dubois contract mess. And I would say I like to see Hiller succeed, but it's got to depend on how are they going to do in the off season. That is the major component and opponent right there. And speaking of opponents, the New Jersey Devils, they are going to be signing Sheldon Keefe as their next head coach of the New Jersey Devils. And I like this one because Sheldon's brought results all around, but Toronto, it's a hockey hectic market, it's a bunch of Lennies and all that stuff. But anyhow, we have a very bold trade coming in yesterday between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Nashville Predators. Ryan McDonagh, the former captain of the New York Rangers, who played with the Lightning, was traded to Nashville several years ago, and now the Tampa Bay Lightning bringing Ryan McDonagh back. And he's got 2 years left on his current deal at $675 million. And I'm going to tell you guys, 2 years left on a hefty contract for Ryan McDonagh, $675 million. For me, it's great to have a guy back that's won 2 Stanley Cups in a row with the Lightning, but will this affect Steven Stamkos' contract extension? Would that affect him? But GMs around the league are very crafty and imaginative on how they're going to re-sign their players. And I'll say this, Ryan McDonagh, he's been to the Cup Finals 3 years in a row. He was a top 4 blue liner for the Predators, producing 5 goals and 52 points during his tenure with the Nashville Predators. And Tampa Bay, I don't know if this contract, if Nashville's keeping some of the money or if Tampa Bay's keeping all of it. That's the question there. And it's no nostalgic tale right there. We just want to know if Tampa Bay can keep Steven Stamkos and some of their core players, because bringing back Ryan McDonagh is a very interesting choice what they did. And the trade basically shows that there were 2 draft picks involved. And I'm going to say I like the trade. But it could be costly. It's a costly trade because you're bringing back a familiar face, but is it worth keeping? Because, you got to keep a few more core players on your current roster. But, very bold. I should say it was a very bold move by the Tampa Bay Lightning bringing back Ryan McDonagh. That was a very bold move. And I'm looking at this up. I'm looking here that McDonagh, can he bring back another Stanley Cup in Tampa Bay? That is $1 million question right there. That is $1 million question. But anyhow, let's get talking about the interesting press conference by the Toronto Maple Leafs with Craig Berube becoming the next coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Don't forget, Chief played with the Maple Leafs. You know, him and Brendan Shanahan, have fought against each other over the years. And I like to see Chief succeed, but Toronto is one of the toughest markets to coach. They're on you 24/7. If I was a coach, I'd be telling them, don't you have news to cover, like real news instead of propaganda? I mean, I just want to do my job. That's all I want to do. I'm tired of you guys going under the microscope and saying, oh yeah, freaking out. It's a game at the end of the day. I know it's a livelihood for a lot of you guys, but come on. We haven't won a cup since 1967, and there's got to be a way for us to get it together. Toronto, like I said, they haven't made a deep playoff run since 2002, 99, 93, and 94. Yeah, so going back to the trade with Nashville and Tampa Bay. So Tampa Bay acquired a 4th-round pick with McDonough, and Nashville acquires Tampa Bay's 7th-round pick of this year and next year's 2nd-round pick in 2025. Yeah. It's probably a makeup for that dumb trade for that trade they made a few seasons ago for Benoit. I mean, that was a pretty ballsy move, but yeah. It was a boring night. There was no hockey on last night. It was just NBA and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I'm excited. This Panthers Rangers game is going to be on ESPN. It's going to be entertaining and juicy, interest. It's going to be juicy. And, I'm excited. We're all excited. Yeah. So it's, I'm just excited for Thursday night even more because, if Florida goes to the Cup Finals and they play Edmonton or Dallas, if Dallas plays Florida, Dallas gets home ice advantage. And if they play Edmonton, that means Florida gets the home ice advantage. And vice versa, if the Rangers were playing Dallas and or Edmonton, the Rangers would have automatic home ice advantage because due to the record. Yeah. I mean, we got some pretty unique matchups, and I wouldn't be surprised that it will get nasty and 2 quick goals. It's going to be 3-2, I guess. I'm sorry to repeat myself, but there's nothing going on in the news cycle. We'll be back after these messages coming up. We're going to find out the latest juicy rumors and my input on Thursday night's game. We'll be back after these messages. We are back. Now we are talking about the juiciest rumors in the NHL. So think about this. I think we all know why McDonough's $675 million contract was traded back to Tampa Bay. Could this be a potential Mitch Marner sweepstakes for the Nashville Predators to reload? And they're ready to get to contend. We all thought Nashville was going to be rebuilding, but they are ahead of schedule. They can be going for one of the best top 5 wingers in the NHL, top 10 players, and getting Mitch Marner. And Nashville could be a very unique place. Same thing that goes for Chicago. Chicago could be trading Zach Jones for Mitch Marner, but who knows? And the Carolina Hurricanes, with Martin Necas and Nikolai Ehlers of the Winnipeg Jets, I got to say, we're going to see some very interesting moves. So we've been hearing that Zach Jones for Mitch Marner, I don't think it could happen. Zach Jones is their top defenseman. They need defense. But, why would you make that dumb trade Mitch Marner to Chicago for Zach Jones? Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. For me, I would keep Zach Jones in Chicago. The Blackhawks need a defenseman like him, and he is their top guy. And also, they're going to get a defenseman in the draft, and I think Zach Jones will be an excellent teacher. You don't want to have one of the new guys be like, "What the hell just happened?" And I just think that Mitch Marner in Chicago doesn't make any sense. I think the Nashville makes sense because Nashville has got the pieces, and I believe Nashville's got what it takes, and they've got the collateral to make the move happen. And and also Chicago needs help for Connor Bedard, and they need to get help for Bedard. I mean, Mitch Marner and Bedard together, I don't like it. I really hate that. That's not a good combo. I think Marner's better off going to Nashville. You got a better sweetheart deal because you've got a good core already there, and you got a team that's playoff ready already. Yeah, and then we're talking about Chicago looking for a goaltender. And Linus Ullmark's got 1 year left on his contract. And will the Blackhawks be willing to give him a contract extension if Linus Ullmark goes from Boston to Chicago? And I know Mrazek played very well. I mean, if Ullmark and Mrazek are your 1-2 combo goaltenders for the Blackhawks, and the Blackhawks improve their defense, I think they're good. If they can make this happen and they can help their front lines, I think Chicago could be almost a wild card team if they play their cards right. Don't forget, we're going to see a lot of moves in the offseason because you got teams that have lots of cap space. Lots of cap space. And, like I said before, I believe that Mitch Marner will be a Nashville Predator next season. And then we got Nikolai Ehlers and Martin Necas to the Montreal Canadiens or the New York Islanders. I really think the Islanders and Canadiens, I think the Canadiens could definitely go for Martin Necas, but as for Nikolai Ehlers, I wouldn't trade Nikolai Ehlers away. You're kidding? No. Winnipeg they had home ice advantage last year. I would keep him until he's a UFA. That's what I would do. Don't do the same mistake and listen to the players' demands. And the Islanders, the Islanders are going to be in a very unique situation. They went to the playoffs this year as a third seed in the Metro, but the era of Zizekas and Martin Clutterbuck is technically over. But I'm saying that we're going to see a very different Islanders team. But but the only way the Islanders are going to be a contending team is they got to make sure they got some weapons, some real goal scoring. That was their biggest weakness. And, for the Montreal Canadiens, if they get Nikolai Ehlers or Martin Necas, playing with Slafkovsky, I mean, Slafkovsky had a huge jump this past year. His rookie year, he struggled quite a bit, but this year played every game, 50 points. That kid is going to be getting a max 6 to 8 year contract extension. And also, we're talking, there could be a potential trade. So think about this. Think about this juicy trade prediction of Ryan Pulock going from the New York Islanders to the Winnipeg Jets for Nikolai Ehlers. It's not a bad idea. Pooley's been struggling quite a bit as of lately, and his cap is really strangling. But for me, you can't trade one of your top guys for another guy. We're losing the war. We're losing the battle, but not the war. That's the whole point. And looking at the numbers here, in Carolina, they've got a budget. If Carolina can be smart with their budget and keep some of their core guys, it can still contend. But I really want to see Brent Burns win a Stanley Cup for the Carolina Hurricanes. That man has been through hell and back. Seriously, that man has been through hell and back. And I got to say, it was pure hell for that. Coming up, we'll be concluding the episode today and getting more juicy rumors. We'll be back after these messages. We are back to conclude the episode of Juicy Hockey today. Okay, so we've got the matchups. We've been talking. So, barely, it's going to be 3-2 Florida Panthers. It's going to be no secret, no surprise there. And they've been saying the Conn Smythe Trophy could go to Leon Draisaitl, Evan Bouchard, Sasha Barkov, Igor Shesterkin, Vincent Trocheck, or Mira Heiskanen. and White Johnston. Man, I gotta say that's a pretty good list. And speaking of pretty good and pretty damn good, lads, is that the NHL ratings came in and they are a hit. The Stanley Cup playoffs are a hit, and basketball is going down. It's just so bland, predictable, blah, blah, blah. Nobody watches the NBA anymore. There's no real chosen one player anymore. There's no real Michael Jordan, Magic, Larry Bird, or LeBron. LeBron's a ghost of himself, and there's a lot of innuendo and rumors about his off-court behavior. It's no surprise. I'm not going to say this because I will get, what I mean. You heard those 2 clicks. You heard what it is. Yeah, so it's going to be a very interesting conference final matchup. And we're looking at the numbers here. We're looking at numbers. The whole thing is that we want to see a competitive team. And we all heard, and this is just in. So the Boston Bruins are looking to get Brad Marchand a new contract extension. His current deal is an average of 6.175, 29 goals, 38 assists this past season. 3 to 4 years is a good idea. Give the guy $20 million and then a $6 million bonus right there as well. And the Ottawa Senators, they hired Rob DeMaio as the director of player personnel and the head of pro scouting. That's a good move. He's got a very good track record. He was with the Anaheim Ducks as the assistant GM, and he was the GM for their San Diego Gulls. That's the AHL affiliate. He was part of the player director personnel. He was part of the St. Louis Blues 2019 Stanley Cup champs. And and I like this. I like Rod DeMaio to be part of the Ottawa Senators. That is a good move. He's a good hockey man. I really like what I see right there. Yeah, I'll say, it was not an eventful day in hockey yesterday. We saw some good games in the World Championships, but it was just, womp, 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 blah, blah, blah. Same old. It was just too damn quiet. Overall, I got some good vibes for tonight's game, though. I've got very good vibes for tonight's game. And as I said before, I say again, this is going to be a fun conference final. It's not like last year where Florida just, they won all their games by 1 goal. I got to say, we're going to see something familiar and similar, but there is a hunch that it will be a 1 goal game and then 2 goal game. I believe that. But as for the, Oilers and Stars, I got to say every game in that series, I believe they're going to exceed the over and under. That's my prediction. I believe the over and under is overrated in that series. I think the over and under in this series between Florida and New York is going to be underwhelming, but intense competitiveness of hockey. All right. I'd like to thank everyone here today. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. God bless America. This has been Juicy Hockey with Gordo. We'll be back tomorrow to recap the Florida Panthers, New York Rangers Game 1 and previewing Game 1 of the conference final on the West Coast. Have a great day and God bless America.